Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member Thompson. Thank you for providing the opportunity for me to testify today. I want to call the committee's attention to the current market conditions facing cattle producers in Iowa and across the United States. Since August of 2019, there has been multiple extreme market disruptions to the cattle industry. The cattle processing facility fire in Holcomb, Kansas, and the supply chain disruption caused by COVID-19 have had serious impacts on the cattle market to the detriment of many of our cattle producers. As a result, we saw boxed beef prices dramatically increase, while live cattle prices have decreased over the last year. In some cases, cattle producers were left without a market to sell their cattle and were responsible for higher costs to feed and care for the cattle until a market could be found. Over the past several weeks, we have again seen the price of boxed beef continue to increase while cattle prices remain stagnant. The gross packer margin on cattle has grown, but I continue to hear that cattle producers are struggling to even break even, to a point of losing approximately $100 to $120 a head for every one sold. There are a lot of factors contributing to the current market situation. We know that the four meat packer companies control over 80% of the cattle processing in the industry. This simple fact leaves the cattle industry particularly vulnerable to market disruptions. It also can leave cattle producers with few options to market their cattle if a packing facility has to reduce their processing capacity, which we saw with COVID, and now we hear a lot of packers saying that they don't have workers, which is causing a slowdown. In Iowa, I have heard from the producers concerned about the packers having a captive supply. Packers have purchased all the cattle they need through formula contracts whose details are not known to the public, and then those packers are not active in the market for a week. As a result, some cattle producers are left without a place to sell their cattle and must continue to cover the costs of feeding and caring for them as the commodity prices can soar. The issue highlights a growing discussion if there is enough cash negotiation taking place in the marketplace to ensure true price discovery and to allow cattle producers sufficient leverage in the cash negotiations. There are several legislative proposals that are being discussed about how to tackle this issue, and I believe it is a discussion that must take place prior to reauthorization of the livestock mandatory reporting. We also have heard that the labor shortages of COVID-19 precautions have impacted processors' ability to operate at full capacity. Again, this is a very serious problem as the cattle continue to back up. We should also take time to examine how we can assist small and medium-sized processors to create additional markets. These are just a few of the issues that I have been hearing contributing to the current situation facing our cattle producers. While there are several intertwined issues taking place, I believe it is our responsibility of this committee to examine what is going on and put forth solutions that will help remedy the state of the market to ensure family cattle producers can make a living and through their hard work. The time is to act now, and I hope, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member Thompson, that you will commit to working with me toward hearing and examining the state of the market and putting forth solutions in the near future. I cannot tell you how crucial this is. We have current independent cattle producers that will probably not be in business in the next 6 months if we do not get this rectified. It seems that there is a captive market through the packers, and if you're not part of the packers, you're out in the cold. These are things that need to be looked at. Thank you, Ranking Member and Mr. Chair, for considering these options.
Well, thank you, Representative.